Hello, welcome to the next installment of Beacon Yoga. So today I want to remind you that it's okay to get a book and or a strap for props. So go ahead and pause now and get those things if you'd like. And then we'll begin. So now we'll start by coming to the top of the mat with our feet close together, and then pick up your toes, spread them out, try to get space between each toe, and then set them back down onto the mat. And then press down into the pads of your feet and lift your heels up off the ground for a second, and then push the heels back down. And now feel yourself rooted down into the mat. And you want to get the sense that from the hips down, you're pressing down and grounding, and then a lifted feeling of the chest and the spine, so that the spine is elongating upward, and then we're making space. So now have your hands at your side with your palms facing slightly forward to help open up across the chest, and then lift up with the chest a little bit. At the same time, relax your tailbone down and take your ears back over your shoulders and relax your shoulders down and back, so that you want to get a sense like your shoulder blades are going in towards each other a little bit, kind of like an angel's wings folding in. So now from here, close your eyes for a minute and just kind of pay attention to what you're feeling today. If you have any aches and pains or other things, just kind of tune in and make a connection with what you're feeling, and try to keep your attention to what's going on the mat. And now the way we do that, the best way to do that, is to continuously focus on your breathing. And so we want to try to breathe in and out through the nose as much as possible. If that's not available to you, then breathing in and out through your mouth is fine. Just try to make your breath consistent, meaning that your inhales is the same duration as your exhale. And then as we go through the poses, just try to go like 70 or 80% in, and then bring your focus back to the breath, and notice as you're inhaling and exhaling how that brings you deeper into the pose, as opposed to trying to force your way into something that's not going to really serve you. So you'll be better served by listening to what your body's telling you and just reacting in kind. So here we go. So we'll take a nice breath in through the nose, and then out, in again, and then out. And now we'll inhale, the arms come up. Try to keep the arms straight. If you're not able to keep straight arms, then just bring them in front of you a little bit, or don't have them quite so close together. And the main thing to keep in mind is to have your shoulders relaxing down away from your ears. And then we'll exhale the arms back down. Inhale, push down through your feet and lift up through the chest, and feel the top of your head going up. And then exhale down. And then we'll do one more. Inhale it up. And then we'll exhale, start to bend your knees and forward fold. And bend your knees a lot here. Rest your torso right on top of your thighs so it supports your lower back. And then you can have your hands either on your shins or place your fingertips on the floor. And then we'll inhale, come back up a little bit, trying to elongate the back forward, almost like you're trying to point your chest out in front of you and have the gaze going out in front. And then exhale, bend at the hips and bend your knees again as much as you need to. So now from here, as you inhale, start to straighten out the legs a little bit, and think of it as you're lifting your sit bones up in the air, and then exhaling, letting the back of the head relax down. Do this a few times. You might even feel your spine open up a little bit. And now we'll inhale, come up a little bit more with a nice straight spine. And then as you exhale, come back down to hands and knees. So here we're going to line up with the shoulders over the wrists. Hands are shoulder width apart, and your knees are hip width apart with your hips over your knees. So your thighs and your arms are straight up and down. And now we'll go through some cat-cows to start to open up the spine by Inhaling, let the belly drop down, tip your tailbone up, and then take your gaze up towards where the wall meets the ceiling, and then go even a little bit further with your eyes. So you stretch your eyeballs open, and then as you exhale, push down into your palms. Make sure your fingers are spread nice and wide. Let your tailbone drop down now and draw your abs up into your spine, and push down so that your shoulder blades move away from each other. And then we'll just go back and forth. So inhaling to the cow pose, exhaling to cat. Inhaling up, and then exhaling back. And now we'll exhale, put your toes together, move your knees apart, and push into your palms to bring your tailbone down by your heels, and then walk your hands forward. And you can either rest your head on the book that you have, or just let your forehead dangle in space, or rest that down onto the floor. So as you inhale, push down on the palms of your hands and use that to try to drag your spine forward a little bit. And then on the exhale, push into the heels of your hands, trying to send your tailbone back towards your heels. And remember child's pose, you can do this at any time during the practice. So now we'll come back up to hands and knees. And then we'll take the right leg straight back, push out through the heel, leg is nice and straight, and try to keep your hips even. So don't let the hip come down and don't rise it up. Try to keep it nice and even. And then once you feel stable like that, we'll take the left arm straight out. And then as you exhale, start to round the back a little bit and bring the left elbow in to touch the right knee. And then we'll exhale it out, so you're pulling the fingertips extending long while you're pushing out through the heel. So you're lengthening out, and then exhale, draw the abs into your spine as you draw the elbow into the knee. One more time out, and then exhale in. And then we'll set up for the other side. Taking the left leg back now, your gaze is slightly forward. Bring the right bicep up alongside your ear. Inhale, extend long by pulling the fingertips long and pushing the heel in the opposite direction. And then exhale, draw the elbow in. Inhale out, exhale in, inhale out, exhale, bring it in, and then we'll come back to hands and knees. Now a little bit of a shoulder opening, so we'll take the, move the left hand so it's down in front of your face, open up to the right, pushing down into the left hand to open your chest out to the right, and then exhale, threading it through, come down onto the right shoulder, and then extend the left arm overhead over the front of the mat. As you inhale, feel your breath pushing into the upper back as the upper lungs expand. And then exhale, just let it relax down into the shoulder socket on the right side. And then we'll use the left hand to push ourselves back up. And now we're going to do this on the other side. So inhale, opening up to the left. And then exhale, thread it through. It's called thread the needle. And then you can keep the right hand as it is, or start to walk it forward for a little bit of a deeper stretch. Nice and slowly, breathing in, breathing out. And now we'll take the hand back, come back to hands and knees. And now from here, curl your toes under, look forward as you inhale, and then as you exhale, start to pick your hips up and push them back by straightening the arms. Try to straighten the elbows. You can start out with bent knees to get the feeling of pushing the hips up and back. And then as you're ready, start to straighten the legs out and pedal the feet. Move your hips from side to side. We're still trying to get a feel on where we're tense, where we're feeling tension. And now we'll exhale, bend the knees, look forward. As you inhale, start to walk your feet in parallel. Try to keep your fingers on the floor as you walk your feet up to where your hands are. And then we'll exhale into a forward fold. Again, okay to bend your knees here as much as you need to. Want this to feel really good on the lower back. And now we'll start to inhale, coming up, walking your hands up your legs. Take the arms up overhead. Press your, interlace your fingers and then press your palms towards the ceiling. Start to bring your biceps back along your ears. Relax your head and your neck. Push down into both feet. And try to lift up on the thumbs and bring the pinky fingers back so the palms are flatly going towards the ceiling. Inhale, relax the shoulders down away from the ears, lifting up through the top of the head. And then as you exhale, lean over to the left, pushing down into the little toe side of the right foot, and then also lifting out of the left side of your waist so you feel length on both sides of your waist. Inhale to center, exhale to the right. Every inhale, you're elongating, expanding. Exhaling, you're releasing and settling. Inhale back up to center. And now we'll exhale the arms down behind your back. Inhale, interlace your fingers and pull your knuckles down towards your heels. And then as you exhale, come into another forward fold. Remembering to bend the knees as much as you need to here. It's okay to rest your whole torso right on your thighs. And now we'll start to broaden across the chest to straighten out the arms. And then as you exhale, release the back of the neck and let gravity pull your spine long. So now as you inhale, push into your feet to rise your sit bones up in the air. And then exhale, start to bring the arms higher up. And eventually they'll come right over the top of your head. But just don't force anything. Go into it is when you start to feel the resistance, that's where your edge is, and then you want to just breathe into it. Yoga's all about connecting the mind to the body, basically getting your mind to listen to your body, and we use the breath to facilitate that. So now release your hands and let them down, and then as we inhale, start to roll up one vertebra at a time, tucking your tailbone under. Take as many inhales as you need, pausing to exhale if you need to. Inhaling all the way up. Arms come out and up. And then exhale back down to Tadasana. So now we'll go through a few sun salutations. So again, pick up the toes and spread them wide. Set them back down onto the floor. Pressing down into the floor to root yourself down while at the same time getting a lifted feeling and elongating the spine. So here we go. And make each transition last through the entire breath. So when we come to Urdhva Hastasana, inhale, the arms come all the way up. And then exhale all the way into a forward fold. Lean forward with the hips a little bit, leaning into the toes without scrunching into them. Inhale, come up halfway with a flat back to prepare yourself. Exhale, place your hands on the floor and then step back to plank as you inhale. And now as you exhale, you can lower down with knees and then chest and chin. Most important to keep the elbows right tucked in along your side body, along your ribs to protect your shoulder socket. And then come down onto the tops of your feet. And then as you inhale, start to draw forward with the chest so it starts to come up. You don't need to use your hands very much here. You're letting the chest do the lifting for you. And then with exhale, curl the toes under, reverse through your hands and knees, and then find yourself into downward facing dog for 5 breaths. So here your hands are shoulder width apart, feet are hip width apart. Inhale, push into the arms, try to straighten the elbows and lengthen out through the spine by pushing your sit bones up and back. And then as you exhale, you could start to ease your heels down towards the floor. Feet are hip width apart, turn your heels out a little bit by pigeon-toeing your feet just enough so you can't see your heels. And then as you inhale, relax the belly to let yourself breathe nice and deep. And then exhale, draw your abs up into your spine. And then on the next exhale, bend your knees and look forward. Keep looking forward as you inhale and walk your feet up to the top of the mat. And then exhale into a forward fold. And then we'll inhale, lifting the head and the shoulders, pivoting at the hips, bringing the arms all the way up overhead. Fingers can touch or not touch, but the main thing is to keep your arms straight, and then exhale back to Tadasana. And we'll inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, reach the fingertips away from the arm sockets as you forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, place your hands down. Step back to your plank as you inhale. And now exhale, most important, make sure that the elbows brush against the ribs as you come down. And now we can come forward to upward facing dog onto our hands and feet on an inhale, and then exhale, picking the hips up, roll over the toes, and come into downward facing dog for 5 deep breaths. So try to externally rotate your biceps here to try to get the creases of your elbows pointing more towards the front of the mat. And then make sure you're pressing down into the base of your thumb and forefingers so that you have the pressure evenly across both hands. And that'll take pressure off of your wrists. And then it's an inhale to push, and then exhale, you're trying to bring your torso down towards your shins on the exhale while keeping your arms straight. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, start to walk your hands up to the top of the mat, and then we'll exhale into a forward fold. And now lifting the head, then the shoulders, lean forward in the hips. Bring the arms up overhead, and then exhale, back down to Tadasana. So now we'll do Shir Namaskar B, Sun Salutation B. So, starting from the Tadasana pose, bend down, brush your fingertips across the floor, and then inhale, the arms come up alongside the ears. You can look out in between your hands, and then as you exhale, straighten your legs and come into forward fold. Inhaling, looking forward. Exhale, place the hands down. Step back to your plank as you inhale. And then exhaling, come down to Chaturanga. Come forward with the chest onto your hands and your feet as you come into your up dog, which is also a back bend. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Big step forward with the right foot as you inhale. Exhale here, pivot the left foot down, and then push into both legs. And when you're ready on an inhale, come on up into your warrior one. So we're trying to use the strength of the back left leg to push the left hip forward. Still trying to bring the biceps along the ears, so we're trying to square the hips forward here. As you inhale, lift up with the chest. Exhale, sink down with the hips. One more inhale, and then we'll exhale. Come forward, pivoting at your hips. Take the right foot back. Go through a vinyasa. Inhaling to up dog. Exhaling to down dog. You can go through chaturangas in both directions if you want to make it a little bit more challenging. And then we'll inhale the left foot forward. Pivot the right foot down. So we're trying to sink the hips. And now as you come on up, push into the little toe side of the right foot to send the right hip forward, and then bend into the left knee to sink the left hip down. And then exhale, pivot at the hips, reaching the arms long. Step the foot back, exhale down to Chaturanga. Inhaling, coming forward and up. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Nice deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. And now bend your knees and look forward. As you inhale, walk your feet to the top of the mat. Exhale into a forward fold. And now deep squat, or go into chair pose, bringing your hips back, bring your biceps alongside your ears. Exhale here. And now as you inhale, pivot from the hips until you can't inhale anymore. And then exhale, straightening the legs and bringing the arms back down to Tadasana. So we'll do one more. Inhale, reach down to come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, place your hands down. Inhale, back to your plank. Exhale, slowly down to Chaturanga. Inhaling to up dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Right foot forward. Left foot pivots down. Inhale up to your warrior one. Make sure the knee stays either behind the ankle or it could be up to the ankle, just not past it. And it should track over the second and third toe. And then exhale, come forward, lowering down. Inhale to up dog, exhale to down dog. And now we step the left foot forward, right foot pivots down. Inhaling as you come up to warrior two. And then exhale, come down, step it back. Go through another vinyasa here and find yourself in downward facing dog. Remember, at any time it's okay to bend your knees or to come down in the child's pose. If you're finding downward dog very difficult, you can come down onto your knees and walk your hands forward into more of a puppy pose. And then after 5 breaths, walk your feet up to the top of the mat. Extend the spine long. Exhale into a forward fold. And now send your hips back for a deep squat. Inhaling up to chair. And then exhale back to Tadasana. So now we'll take a turn to the right. And take both legs wide apart, straight legs, and then we'll turn the right leg out to the back. We're setting up for triangle. Inhale, extend the arms nice and long, and if you push out through the palms, you can feel the nerves go all the way through the length of your arms out, and then straighten the arms back out again. Look out over the right hand. As you inhale, start to reach long. Let your right hip swivel back and your left hip swivel in a little bit. And then take the back of your right hand down somewhere into your shin. If you want, you can go all the way down and make yoga toe lock. But in here is fine with the back of the hand on the shin. Now take your left hand, peel the left hip open so that starts to line your torso up over the right leg. And then take the left shoulder back, bring the left arm into the air, close your left eye and look at the hand in the air with the right eye. And if you're doing that, then you're pretty well lined up. So now inhale, think about lengthening out on both sides of the waist. And then as you exhale, you'll take the right hip and move it that way, out in front. So you're externally rotating the thighs to try to open up the hips and the pelvis, and then trying to lengthen out both sides of your body. So now we'll exhale and look down. Inhale, come on up, pivoting at the hips. And then revolve your feet to the other side. Oh, relax the shoulders away from your ears. Inhale, reach like you're trying to go for something that's just out of your reach. And then exhale, have the right hand come down on the right hip while you bring the back of the left hand inside of your shin. And now twist open, taking the right shoulder back and peeling the right hip open. And then we'll take the right arm in the air. This time you close your right eye and look at the hand in the air with the left eye. And then exhale, look down, inhale, come on up, and then we'll turn the feet to face forward again. And now again, turn the right foot out to the right and start to bend into the right knee. And then you may have to walk your left foot back a little bit. We're starting to go into warrior two now. So bend into the right knee, tracking the right knee over the second and third toe, and get the sense of the thigh externally rotating so that you're broadening across the pelvis. Your hips should be facing out to the side of the mat. Push into the little toe side of the back leg and then externally rotate that thigh as well. Extend your arms, lengthen them out as if somebody's trying to pull them apart. And then we look over the right hand. Inhale. Try to lift up with the torso as the top of the head rises up and the neck gets long. And then exhale, you can start to bend into the knee a little bit more. Making sure that the knee stays out to the right. Don't let it cave in. Keep it out to the right. Drop your tailbone down and try to keep your torso vertical. So after a couple of breaths here, we'll take the right arm on the right thigh, windmill the left arm around, and try to make one long straight line between the little toe side of your left foot and your left fingertips. Have your chin go into your armpit and your gaze out at your fingertips. And now as you inhale, extend long through the whole left side of your body, pushing into the little toe side of the foot, taking the right hip forward. And then as you exhale, start to twist open and keep trying to bring the bicep back almost behind your head. So here, you can either keep the arm up higher, you can bring your fingertips to the floor, or if you want to really engage your abs, you can take both arms up parallel. And now we'll inhale back to warrior two. Exhale, straighten both legs, and then revolve to the other side. So here again, you might have to walk the back leg back a little bit. Make sure the knee tracks over the ankle, doesn't go past the ankle. So we're trying to tuck the tailbone under, extend the torso straight up for warrior two on this left side. Push into the little toe side of the back leg, and then look out over the left hand. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink. Keep tracking the left knee out to the left. And then we take the left forearm onto the left thigh, windmill it around. As you inhale, extend long, chin into the armpit, gaze out at the fingertips. Exhale, start to turn the spine open. You can use the forearm on your thigh to help twist you open, but try not to torque yourself. Just use it as a guide. And then if you want to bring the fingers down to the floor to deepen it a little bit, or you can take the arms straight up and parallel. Try to keep the elbows nice and straight. And then we'll exhale here. Inhale, back up to warrior two, and then exhale, windmill it down, step it back, and either go right to down dog or take yourself through another vinyasa. So now we'll come through, we'll do some hip openers now. So let's inhale and step the right leg forward, walk the left foot back and come down onto the left knee, and then come onto the top of the back of the left foot. So here again, the knee can be over the ankle but not past it. And your back leg, your left leg, should be going back and down on an angle. So we'll start by coming up onto fingertips, and if you're feeling a stretch here, this is fine to stay right here. We're trying to sink the right hip down, and then also trying to bring the left quadricep forward and down. So next we'll take the right hand on the right knee, and then you can start to straighten the right knee until you get vertical, and then interlace your fingers. And now as you inhale, rise up through the top of the head, and then as you exhale, start to bend into the front knee. Let your pelvis come down and forward. So we're trying to bring the left thigh down towards the mat and sinking the right hip down. And now straighten your arms by pulling the chest back, and make sure that you don't feel any tension in your lower back. If you do, then ease up on the pose. You should feel this all in the left quadricep muscle and the right hip. And then you can inhale, lifting up with the chest. Exhale, maybe sink a little bit deeper into the knee. And then if you're comfortable, you can let your hands down and then bring your arms up overhead for the full low lunge. Anjaneyasana. Bring the biceps back along your ears as you inhale and rise up with the chest, and as you exhale, sinking down. And now we'll exhale. Take the right hand back on the knee. Inhale, lengthen out the whole left side of your body, and then we'll exhale, take it to the outside. So bring your hands together and and then relax the right elbow down along the right side of the body. Come up off of the thigh and try to get your thumbs into your sternum. And breathe. Remember to breathe. Yoga is really nothing more than a breathing exercise. Now, if you want to go a little bit more into this pose, curl the back toes under and straighten the left leg. And if you do that, make sure you're pressing out through the heel. So you're inhaling, elongating, exhaling, stretching it open. And now we'll exhale and release and bring it down. Come back into center. And now walk your right knee to the outside of your right shoulder. And you can come down, you can leave your toes curled under in the back or come back down onto the foot again. And now coming back up again on the fingertips, and notice how you start to feel the tension in your hip. And then to go a little bit deeper, you could start to come down. And here's where the props can come in handy. You can come down onto a book with your elbows, or you can just bend your elbows. And the right elbow is going to pay attention to the right elbow, because that's going to not want to go as low as the left. So try to make sure you're pressing down on the right and the left. And now hug the right knee into the shoulder as you come down into your lizard pose. And it's not important to get your elbows to the floor. Again, what really matters is that you're feeling some intensity and that you're beginning to understand what's going on in your body as you go through these poses. If you want to intensify this one, then you would curl the back toes under and straighten out the back leg. So we're trying not to round the back too much, and you're trying to keep your gaze going forward. So let the knee down, come on back up, and then we'll just take the right knee back to all fours. And now we'll take the left leg forward, right knee goes back, so you have to walk the right leg back so that the leg's going back and down on an angle. Come on up on the fingertips to start. trying to bring your pelvis down and forward. And then we'll take the left hand on the left knee, pressing into the knee, but drawing the shoulders back to straighten the elbows. And then exhale, release. Bringing the arms up overhead if you did this on the other side. So root the arm bones down into the shoulder sockets. Bring the biceps back along your ears. Have your palms facing each other. Your gaze can be slightly up. Inhale as you lift up with the chest, and then exhale, sinking down. And it's more about thinking of what you're doing and not so much a lot of movement. The movements can be very subtle, but it can make a big difference. And then exhale, take the left arm down, left hand down to the knee. Inhale, lengthen it back up on that side. And then we'll exhale, taking the right elbow outside the right knee. Take your time to set it up. Thumbs come into the sternum, and then we can extend up the other side. If you fall out of a pose, just come back in it. Just move slowly and pay attention to what's going on. And then we'll exhale, lower the knee if it's up, walk the left elbow out. For lizard pose, so now your left knee is on the outside of your left shoulder. Walk that right foot back again a little bit more. Start by coming up on the fingertips and trying to bring the pelvis down and forward, and then slowly bending into the elbows. And you don't have to go very far to have this work for you. So it's better to not bend your elbows far and keep a straight back than to be all hunched over and just drop down into the pose. That won't be serving you as well. You'll do a lot more for yourself if you keep the back straight, keep your alignment, and gradually come into it. And if you're a golfer, this will be an unbelievable benefit when you start on that tee box in a couple of weeks or whenever the golf course is open. And even if you're not a golfer, we only get one set of hips, and if you want them to last your whole life, then it's good to be doing these hip exercises slowly and often. So now we'll walk the hands back up, take the right knee back, walk your hands forward a little bit, curl your toes under as you look forward and inhale, and then as you exhale, press it up into downward facing dog. And now we'll inhale and start to walk yourself back up to the top of the mat, and then exhale into a forward fold. And now we'll inhale, come all the way up, and then exhale here. So we'll step the, here's where the book will come in handy. Take the book or a block, put it on the outside of your right foot, step your left leg back, turn your hips to face forward, have your right hand on the right hip, inhale, the arms come up, exhale, come forward with a straight back, and then before you go any further, inhale once again and try and elongate the spine straight out, and then exhale, take the right hand down onto your prop, onto a book, and it can be the higher the better, because what you want to do is you want to be able to push down into the left hand and move the shoulder over the wrist, and then bring your right arm straight up and back. So now we inhale, push into the big toe side of your right foot to send your right hip back, and then as you exhale, twist open, bringing the shoulder over the wrist. So we're trying to bring the right hip back away from the shoulder and bringing the left shoulder over the left wrist. And then we'll exhale, come down, inhale, come up, and switch sides. So take the left hand on the left hip, square the hips up. Inhale, the right arm comes up. Exhale, push into the left leg to send the left hip back as you come forward. And then take the right arm to the outside of the right foot. It can be on the inside of the right foot as well. Do what feels good for you. Should be uncomfortable but not painful. And now send the left hip back as you rise the left arm up in the air. Bring the head back. Inhale, elongate. Exhale, twist open. Pavarita, Trikonasana, twisted triangle. And then exhale and come down. And now we'll inhale and come on up. And then back to the top of the mat. So we'll do a little bit of shoulder opening, and this is where a strap can come in handy. So we'll take the right arm up, bend it down, and start walking your fingers down your back. And if this is enough, you could just take your left hand and start to bring the elbow back, stand up nice and straight. To go a little further, take the left arm back and around, and you can touch your fingers or grab a hold of your left hand. And then if you get the left hand, you want to keep bringing the right bicep back. And you can also use a strap in between your hands and just kind of pull it together. And then exhale and release. And then the other side. So take the left arm up, right arm out. Start to walk the fingers down the back. Stay here if this is enough. If you want to go further, start walking the right fingers up towards the left and either shake hands or touch your finger points. And then exhale and release. So now we'll do a balancing pose. So we'll take tree pose today. So tree pose, taking the right foot up. You can either press the foot into the ankle or into the shin, or it can come all the way up into the thigh, just anywhere but your knee. And then wherever it goes, take a second to bring the right knee out to the right and the left side of the pelvis out to the left. Really, you're not really moving the left pelvis, but you want to keep it from twisting over to the right. Even if it means not having the right knee splayed out as far. So you're trying to broaden across the pelvis, and then take your hands together in heart center. Inhale, push down in the standing leg while you reach up through the top of your head, and then exhale, start to lift the arms up high. And then exhale, bring it back, come down, and we'll set up for the other side. Okay, hands come to heart center. And then we'll exhale and release. And now we'll come to the floor. Inhale, come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog. And then we'll come to hands and knees, and then we'll come around to sit. So, extending the legs straight out. And here you could sit on your book again. If your hips are tight, it's a good idea to sit on something. And if you're sitting on something, sit on the edge of it so that when you start to come forward, it lets your pelvis tilt forward. So now try to bring the little toe side of your feet back towards your shoulders. So not letting your feet curl in, have them out like this so the toes are coming towards the shoulders. Inhale, the arms come up. Exhale, start to come forward with a straight back. And right before you feel like you're going to round your back, take your hands down onto your shins, or you could maybe make yoga toe lock, but do what's comfortable here to keep a nice straight back. And then we're going to inhale and elongate, try to push into your sit bones and elongate the spine, and then exhale, tuck your chin into your chest and start to draw your head towards your feet. It's an up and over motion, so inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. Inhale, press down into your legs into the mat. Exhale, head towards the feet. Inhale, come up. Never mind that ringing telephone. And so now we'll do Jana Shavasana. So bend the right knee in. Cut it. Okay, so come to seat and remove the fleshy parts from under your sit bones, and sit up nice and tall, nice long straight back extended, and then try to get the little toe sides of your feet drawn back towards your shoulders as opposed to letting your feet naturally curl in like they will want to do. And so sitting up nice and tall like that. And it's also sometimes a good idea if your hips are not very flexible to sit up on a block or a book. And if you're sitting on the block or the book, move towards the edge of it, so when you tilt forward, it puts your, it'll have your pelvis tilt slightly forward, which will go a long way into helping you open up your hips for the seated forward fold. So now we inhale, the arms come up, root the arm bones down into the shoulder sockets, and then as you exhale, start to come forward, and only come as far forward as you can and still having a straight back. And then you'll feel this in your hips, and then take your hands down onto your legs, or maybe you can grab your big toes with your fingers and make yoga toe lock. So now we inhale and extend long, and then exhale, start to fold forward. Think of it more as an up and over motion. So inhale, pressing down into the backs of the legs to extend the spine long, and then exhaling, bringing the head towards the feet. And then when you feel like you're as far forward as you're going to go, tuck your chin all the way into your chest, and then just keep repeating that up and over movement. And not worrying about how much movement there. The movement's going to be very subtle, but you'll feel this in the opening. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, fold. And then inhale and release. And now we can remove the book. So let's bend the right knee in, and be mindful of your knee here. So if you have any kind of knee problems at all, then you'll want the foot to be farther down the leg. If you've got the flexibility in the knee, then the foot can come all the way back as far as your groin. So sit up nice and tall. Both sit bones are on the floor, and then take your right hand to outside of the left leg. Take your left hand behind you to help you sit up nice and straight. Inhale up And then as you exhale, start to turn so your torso is lined right up over the left leg. And then take a couple of breaths here to get ready, and then you can start to forward fold. You can use the back, the hand and back to propel you forward a little bit, but we're not forcing anything. It's just more like a guide. And then start to walk your right hand down the outside of your left leg, and if you can get to the outside of your left foot, that's fine. If not, settle for wherever it goes, and you start to feel an opening in the lower left side of your back. And now cross the left wrist over the right, and then as you inhale, elongate, extend the spine away from the sitting bones, and then exhale, start to come forward, all the while letting the right knee splay out to the right. So you feel a nice opening in the lower back. And then we'll inhale and release, and then go to the other side. So we'll bend the left knee in, sit up nice and tall. Take your time getting into this one. Take the left hand now to the outside of the right knee. Take your right arm behind you. Sit up nice and tall, and first start to twist your body so that you get lined up right over the left, right over the right thigh. Inhaling up, and then as you exhale, start to come forward with a straight back, allowing the left knee to splay out to the left. Both sit bones are on the floor. And if you were able to get to the outside of your left foot, you could maybe do the same on this side. Not everything's the same on both sides. So just be mindful of what you're doing and let yourself ease into it and let it come to you in time. Exhale, release. And now we have Baddha Konasana. So bring your soles of your feet into touch, and then walk them in towards your groin. This is another pose where a block can come in handy if your hips are not very flexible. And then also watching out for your knees, and don't bring your heels in too far if you start to feel any kind of pressure in the knees. You shouldn't feel anything at all in your knees. So if you're on the book or the block, lean forward, sit up nice and tall. You can either interlace your fingers in front of your foot, or just place your hands down on your ankles, resting your forearms on your thighs. And then as you inhale, rise up. And then as you exhale, you can use your forearms to press your thighs open as you start to come forward. And you don't have to come very far forward to feel this one. Those of us that are really flexible will be able to get their chest all the way down onto their ankles. But that's not important. What's important is that you're feeling this in the places where you should, which would be in the hips and the groin area, and a little bit on the lower back muscles. And now inhale and release. Bring the knees in together. Remove the book. So we'll bend in the right foot, cross it over the left, so your right foot should be outside of the left knee, and then lean over to the left and bend your right leg around. And now sit back up, and you want to have both sit bones pressing down into the floor. So if both of your sit bones aren't pressing down, then just stay here for this one. And we'll take the right arm up and back, place the heel of your hand back behind your spine so you sit up nice and tall. And then you can either hug the right knee in, or you could take the elbow to the outside of the knee. And now we're inhaling, rising up, exhaling, twisting over. Start to take your gaze over the right shoulder. You can also bind with this by reaching your left arm through and then taking the right arm around and binding, but that doesn't work for everybody. You want to make sure, though, the most important thing is that both sit bones are down, and that as you inhale, you're lifting, exhaling, opening. Open the right shoulder out to the right, and then exhale and release. Go to the other side, counter twist for one breath, and then we'll straighten the legs out. So now we'll bend the left foot in, take it to the outside, lean over to the right, bend the right foot back, sit back up nice and tall. And for some of us, this is enough. You can also push down into the left foot to help you sit up nice and tall and to get that left sit bone down onto the floor. And then we'll take the left arm, reach it up, lengthen out of the side body, take the heel of the hand behind the spine, and then hug the left knee into the chest. As you breathe in, feel your body pressing against the leg and the leg against your body. This is massaging your internal organs. This pose is a good pose for digestion. Inhale up, exhale, the left shoulder's opening to the left. And now we'll exhale and come back to center, counter twist the other direction for one breath, and then we'll extend the legs out in front. So now we'll move up and come on to lay on your back. So first make sure your feet are even, and then using your hands lower yourself down onto your back. And then we're setting up for bridge pose. So walk your fingertips down towards your heels, and if you can grab your ankles, go ahead. Otherwise, don't worry about that. Have about a fist width between your knees. And now press your feet forward as if you're trying to press them forward on the mat, but without moving them, and use that pressure to start to lift the hips up into the air. And now you can interlace your fingers under your back or just grab the sides of your mat, and then start to walk your shoulder blades in towards each other. And if you're interlacing your fingers, try to bring your pinky fingers down towards the mat. And now pay attention to your knees. You want to imagine you have a block between your knees and you're trying to squeeze it together. So don't let them splay apart. Keep them nice and close like this. And now inhale, draw your chest towards your chin, and then exhale, pick up your hips. Keep pushing into the feet. Inhale, chest to chin. Exhale, hips go a little higher. And then exhale and release. And now we'll hug the knees into the chest. And rock side to side. And now release your feet back to the floor. Let's take the right knee up, fold it over the left, push into your left foot to lift your hips up and move them to the right an inch or two. Spread your arms wide, and then as you exhale, slowly allow the knees to fold over to the left while your gaze goes to the right. Try to keep both shoulders on the floor. This is a very passive stretch. You're just allowing it to happen. If you want to go a little bit further, you can take your left hand on the right knee and very gently draw it down towards the floor. But make sure you have both shoulders on the floor before you do that. And also the knee should be about the height of your belly button. And now inhale, come back to center. Unfold the legs, and now we fold the left over the right. Pick up the hips, move them to the left, and now slowly let the knees fall over to the right while your gaze goes to the left. And now we'll come back to center. Unfold the legs. Hug your knees into your chest one more time. Relax the knees away as you inhale, and then as you exhale, squeeze the arms in to help press all the air out of your lungs, completely empty them out. You can do this a couple of times, relaxing as you breathe in, holding it in tight as you breathe out. And now we'll set up for Shavasana, final relaxation. So you can do this with bent knees. If you have any kind of back issues, then you'll probably want to do it with bent knees, or you can put pillows under your knees. And if not, let your legs go long. Allow your feet to splay open. Have your arms down at your side with your palms facing up. Close your eyes. Allow your breath to start to slow down. And now survey your whole body, looking for any place where you might be holding on to tension, and let it all go. So beginning with the muscles in your face, relax your eye sockets, relax your jaw, and then just make your way down the rest of your body, allowing the breath to slow down. And you can remain in Shavasana for 5 or 10 minutes. And cut.